Face reality, people. Movies are dead. Games are dead. Narrative? Dead.
Media is nothing but neural trigger response and viral conditioning.
Wait, what are you two talking about?
All right. We got another Shohei Ohtani update. He actually does a press conference and speaks to the media. Right? Not answering questions. He's just giving his PR statement to the media, and then the media passes it along to the fans. And we're going to give it a quick little listen and reaction. I've seen this already. Anthony saw, I think, the tail end of it. So you're going to get kind of a review and reaction at the same time. All right. Let's not waste any time. Let's get into it. Here we go.
I wanted to be here today to be able to talk. I'm sure it was very tough. It's been a tough week for fans and team officials, and I'm very grateful that the media has been patient in this process. Just on a personal note, I'm very saddened and shocked that someone who I'm trusted has done this.
現在進行中の調査もありますので、今日話せることにまず限りがあるというのもご理解いただきたいなということと、また今日ここに詳細をまとめた分かりやすく皆さんにお伝えするためにまとめたメモがありますので、そちらの方に従って何があったのかというのをまず説明させていただきたいなと思います。
So obviously today there's things that I'm limited in being able to talk about. I hope you understand. I do have a document in front of me that I will refer to that will detail what has happened.
Seems less like notes and more like what he's supposed to be saying, like exactly what he's supposed to say. But you gotta
lawyer it up.
Yeah,
You gotta lawyer it up.
This would make more sense if he was doing an actual Q&A. Like people are asking him questions and he needs to refer to his notes. Like, so what happened on that night? Like, okay, right here on Thursday, this happened or something.
So I don't know if you know. You probably don't know because you don't follow baseball like that. This guy does not take questions. He does not do press conferences. He's basically allowed to go most of the season without speaking. So this is not like it's not a irregularity like we just saw. It's not an irregularity for him to not be asked questions or be pressed in any way. He's allowed to do whatever he wants, basically.
And I'm assuming God?
No, go ahead.
I'm assuming with this thing, it's going to skip past him and go directly to Major League Baseball that are going to answer the questions about, like, hey, well, why is this, like, as far as, like, discrepancies in the story or things that don't make sense? I'm assuming it's going to skip right to Major League Baseball and he's not going to have to answer any of it. That's my guess.
Well,
they're going to be like, well, his team will say, like, well, the MLB is investigating that. Then someday the MLB will conclude their investigation, and then they'll be the ones who answer these questions. Like, well, like, how did this happen, or how did that happen? And he'll never answer for any of that shit. That's my guess.
Yeah. No, but also, isn't it like I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I don't think you're a lawyer either.
No.
Because I heard Samson talking about, isn't it like weird that he's even saying anything about it at all? Like, isn't that while there's an investigation going on?
Maybe it's because, look, if they're probably on their way back to the States soon, right? And they're going to be playing games. They're going to have the home media around.
Already. They're here already.
Okay. They're going to be playing games domestically soon, right? And these are going to be questions that are going to be popping up every time he... But
okay, so you had to do this to get him off his back.
I would assume so, right? Because they're going to be allowed to be at his locker, right? At the end of games and stuff.
True.
You're saying he doesn't answer shit, but that was more because no one cared about baseball, but people care about this shit. So I assume they might even like be hounding him a bit. He's basically making this statement to say, well, go to Major League Baseball and ask them. Don't talk to me anymore. That's what it looks. That's what it looks like. But all right, let's continue. And by the way, it seems kind of weird to me that he understands when this guy's done speaking English. This is for the people watching the video. It just looks weird to me. Like it's very like coordinated towards like, do you understand English like that? Like you know when he's done talking. I don't know, or you know when he's done translating what you're saying. Once again, that's just speculation, just dumb guy observation, whatever. All right, here we go.
まずはじめに、僕自身は、何かにかけたりとか、誰かに代わって、そのスポーツイベントにかけたりとか、それをまた頼んだり、っていうことはないですし、僕の口座からブックメーカーに対して、誰かに送金を依頼したことももちろん全く、ありません。
So I never bet on baseball or any other sports, or never have asked somebody to do it on my behalf. And I have never went through a bookmaker to bet on sports.
本当に数日前まで、
Okay, have to say that.
彼が、そういうことをしていたっていうのも、全く知りませんでした。
Up until a couple days ago, I didn't know that this was happening.
結論から言う
Up until a couple days ago, I did not know this was
Yeah.
happening.
You spend all your time with this guy.
Now, things are going to be said here, Anthony, where that statement's going to it's going to hit home even more as far as like how mind-blowing of a statement that is, considering all the names and faces that are going to be like kind of brought in, not names and faces, but like all the idea of groups of people that are brought into it. It's like, you still didn't know? Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit, man. But here we go.
言うと、彼が僕の、口座からお金を、盗んで、なおかつ、みんな僕の周りもそうですね、みんなに、嘘をついていたっていうのが、結論から言うとそういうことになります。
Just to kind of just go over the result, in conclusion, Ippei has been stealing money from my account and has told lies.
まず初めに言うと先週末、韓国ですね、僕の代理人に対
Okay.
して
Stole money from your account.
方から私が、
Got it.
僕のにですね、違法のブックメーカーから、僕が、関与しているのではないかというスポーツ博打賭博について、関与しているのではないかという打診が連絡がありました。
Last weekend in Korea, media has reached out to a representative in my camp, inquiring about my potential involvement in this sports betting.
で一平さんは僕にこういった取材の依頼があるということをまず、僕には話していなかったし、僕の方にそういう連絡はまず来ていなかったということと、まずはじめに代理人には、一平さんは僕と話して分かったのは、一平さんにではなく、某友人の借金の肩代わりとして、支払ったというふうに、僕の代理人も含めてみんなに話してました。
So Ippei never revealed to me that there was this media inquiry, and to the representatives in my camp, Ippei told to the media and to my representatives that I, on behalf of a friend, paid off debt.
でその翌日にさらに
Okay, so representatives. All right, so you have the bank, you have the media, and you have his personal representatives, all understanding it with knowledge that, and this guy Ippei is talking to all these motherfuckers, and none of them are talking to Shohei Ohtani. Apparently,
Yeah.
none of them are talking to him at all. That's the weird thing about this.
Yeah, it's weird.
All these hands on the table here in regards to this Ippei guy. That Ippei apparently has all this access to all these different entities.
Yes.
But Ohtani just has no contact with any of them, apparently.
Also, so I've been hearing here and there. I've been reading some things where apparently he had a fund where he was like doing a lot of charitable work, right?
Okay.
And it was alleged that Ippei had access to that fund, where he was giving like kids baseball equipment in Japan or whatever, or like building houses, whatever,
Okay.
charitable things. And he had a certain, I guess maybe a savings account or a checking account, whatever, where Ippei had. This I heard this secondhand, so this all totally be false.
Okay.
But this is like what a dick rider for Ohtani was trying to say. Like, oh, Ohtani helps all these people, and he had Ippei help him disseminate them funds, and that maybe Ippei took funds from there to pay for his things. But what I'm saying is, and you're probably saying the same thing, It's one thing you buy a house. It's one thing you buy a car. Like Otani he when he signed with the Dodgers, he wanted a number, and that number belonged to a pitcher named Joe Kelly.
Okay.
And so, in order for him, and then Joe Kelly gave him his number like willingly, and Otani bought his wife a Porsche, and apparently he bought his wife a
God damn.
Porsche, and it makes it seem like Ippei was the one who made that happen for him through this fund I'm talking about.
Okay.
Same fund where he's doing charitable donations. And so yeah, they're trying to make it seem like Ippei had. But my point is, it's one thing you buy a Porsche for somebody, you buy a house, you buy this or that, and then you wire money to somebody, and there's no inquiry from the bank. Like it's one like okay, you know what I mean? Like where's this? I know because for legal reasons, the bank has to have a fucking protocol to allow these things to be like. So yeah, he's spending money, a lot of money, maybe in the hundreds of thousands, on
Yeah.
certain things. But then, like, you got $1 million that we know of wired to another individual who the fuck knows how he got that money? Like, what kind of account he set up?
Yeah.
Like, maybe it's a third party or offshore. Who the fuck knows how that? You're telling me that no one inquired to Otani then, like, yo, what's going on? Like, and if they did, A, is there a paper trail? And B, did he like knowingly say, yeah, that's fine? That's what I'm wondering too. Like, isn't that like, yo, that's like a quagmire that like, how you got to answer this shit? Like, how the fuck did he wire this money, having your information? I don't give a fuck how much leeway he got.
Yeah.
That transaction is not like it's not a normal transaction, even for someone with the funds he has that's spending the kind of money he's spending. This is almost like a next level thing.
Yeah. Well, would that be? Are you implying that there may be a separate account to where Ippei had access? Like,
That's what I heard
there's
secondhand.
Otani's main account, and then there's like this little side account that he.
I can't say I do or don't. I'm saying maybe that's a possibility, and it's kind of what's been full. Also, before like earlier today, I'm hearing like over the weekend, there's been a lot of could be true, but there's been a lot of efforts to discredit him and to make him be a perpetual liar, which he may be. That
Okay.
he said he worked for the Red Sox. Red Sox said he never worked for them. He said he worked for the Yankees. No one can prove it. He said he graduated from UC Irvine. UC Irvine says there's no documentation of that.
Okay.
And it's like, and then like that's all cool and all. Like I understand, like okay, that doesn't look good for him. How the fuck did he get to the position he got though? And Otani's been here for what 4 or 5 years, and now this is being brought up as a problem. Like I don't know. I can be very naive on this, and there's probably things I'm not considering. I'm just not ready to be like I'm not like I'm like all right, it's innocent until proven guilty. But you know how it works. Like you said, you were talking about a totally different subject yesterday. Like yo, if you have a feeling that someone's like complicit of something, yet you don't have the evidence, that shouldn't stop you from bringing
Yeah.
forth your gripe.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm bringing forth my gripe. It still does not pass the smell test. But let's keep listening. Maybe I can be swayed.
All right. Here we go. Before I apply, like once again, that's a lot of hands on this thing, and
It is.
you probably include like accountants if you're going to talk about the money, and with the him gifting money to someone or for Joe Kelly's wife's fucking Porsche or a
Yeah.
charity or like, well, hey man, what's pulling $500,000 from your bank account every fucking month? Like, what's doing that? Like,
No, that's a good point. Like, okay, there's people like yeah, there's like a downstream of people that know, yeah, okay, you're gonna spend this on that, spend that on this. And then like he spends we don't even know when did he send this money. Was this recent? Was this last year? Was it when?
yeah,
How is because if we get the timetable that it's farther along down the line, it's like, yo, it looks even worse for Otani.
Yeah. It's
Right
right.
now, we don't know, so we can't say yeah or no. But you better hope this happened in the last 2 weeks or something like that.
Like this is
Or
not.
this would be someone would have inquired, and he would have been like, "Oh, don't worry about it."
This isn't $50 missing from a
No.
$100 million account. This is $500,000 like on consecutive time. Maybe even more, even earlier. Like we don't have, like you said, we don't have the account for what happened earlier. Like he could have maybe paid $1 million at some point or $2 million to add up to this
Yeah.
4.5 million. But whatever. Let's keep playing. Here we go.
さらに尋問で一平さんは、僕たちの代理人に対して、借金は自分のもの、つまり一平さん自身が作ったものだということを、説明しました。
Upon further questioning, it was revealed that it was actually, in fact, Ippei who was in debt.
でそれを僕が、肩代わりしたという話
We
を
knew that already.
その時に代理人に話したそうです。
And told my representatives that I was paying off those debt.
そしてこれらは全く全てが嘘だったということですね。
And all of this has been a complete lie.
一平さんは取材
Well, okay, so this guy does everything for you then. So that might be, because this is what I've been hearing about it, right? Was that the translators are like the most important people to these foreign players, and like these guys do, like apparently he was literally doing everything, like literally. If they needed the media to be spoken to, this guy goes without Ohtani somehow. ESPN does a 90-minute interview with the interpreter without Ohtani there.
Yeah.
And somehow that passes. The interpreter talks to his personal representatives without Ohtani there. Ohtani finds out about it afterwards. To where, and check this shit out, because this is what he's going to say. He's going to say that the representatives and Ippei basically, like, it seems like they colluded to go to ESPN before, because they knew his name was in these FBI investigation things. They're like, okay, let's get ahead of this by going to the media. And Ippei convinced them of that. I'm pretty sure he's going to say that. I'm going to play it first just to make sure. Then, like, that should be mind-blowing. That somehow Ohtani's not involved in any of that shit. But here we go. Let's play this.
依頼のことも僕にはもちろん、その時伝えていなかったですし、代理人の人たちに対しても、僕はすでに彼と話して、彼と話してコミュニケーションを取っていたっていうことを、嘘をついてました。
So Ippei obviously lied about, basically didn't tell me about the media inquiry. And then その代表に対して、
僕
The media went to
チームもそうですね。チームも、代理の
the
人
media went to
に対しても、
this interpreter
僕とコミュニケーションを取っていた。
Yeah.
without knowing whether
So
Ohtani's.
Ippei has been telling everybody around that Ippei has been communicating with Shohei on all of this account to my representative, to the team, and that has
There's
been
another
true.
group. Here's the Dodgers.
そして僕がこのギャンブルに関しての
There's another group right there involved. No one's confirming that Ohtani's involved. Like, is communicating about any of this. No one's like, hey, listen, I know you're their interpreter. He doesn't speak good English, but can you put him on the phone for a second to make sure that he's like actually here? Apparently, this guy was Ohtani. Apparently, he is Ohtani in like an actual like version of him or something, because all these people are doing all these things, like the bank, like the media interview, like his own personal representatives, and like the fucking LA Dodgers. This dude's doing all, like, it's like they're calling the house and like, ding, hello, Ippei here. Hey, how you doing? How you doing, Shohei? It's Ippei, but whatever, you're same guy. It doesn't matter. So Shohei, how do you feel about this or that? It's like, what? It's like this guy like is Shohei Ohtani to these people apparently. No one said, hey, can you confirm that Ohtani's giving you the thumbs up on this or agreeing with this, especially with a major story like this.
Yeah.
Especially with large amounts of money like this. Hey, this is the bank. Can you confirm that Shohei actually wants you to send $1 million over here? Hey, excuse me. This is ESPN. This guy's on an FBI document. Can we please confirm that Shohei is like a part of this discussion right now? It's not just some guy talking in his place. Hey, LA Dodgers here. Yeah, I know we pay you hundreds of millions of dollars. Whatever. We don't need Shohei here. We just need the interpreter. We don't need to prove that he's involved in any regard. Like, this is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
That this guy apparently was considered to be Shohei himself, like as a representative.
It doesn't add up.
That doesn't make sense to me at all. The bank thing, you mentioned the thing with money, like, okay, maybe Shohei had this guy, dishing money out to charities or teammates or whatever the fuck. So he had some sort of quote unquote power of attorney with the money to some degree. But then how does he get away with it with the media? Doesn't ESPN need to confirm that Ohtani's actually like being represented here? How about Ohtani's representatives themselves? His personal lawyers and all that shit. Don't they need to be sure? They're lawyers. Don't they need to be sure that Ohtani is giving the okay to this? The Dodgers. Aren't they supposed to be sure that their player, the one they're paying the money to, the one whose money is going into the fucking bookie's bank account, shouldn't they be the ones like, hey, let's confirm that Shohei it believes this or says this. Let's get our own interpreter in here. Let's hear Ohtani speak himself. Because this is very important, and this could take down our organization. A lot of money's involved here. Obviously, the entire sport of baseball, the media, all this shit is involved with this. And no one's going out to confirm Ohtani has anything to do with this. Is crazy to me. That this guy just went behind his back and was able to do all of that.
Yeah.
Like Ohtani's wife is about to give birth. Like, Ippei shows up. And she's like, oh, that's fine. Yeah, that's cool. His son Ippei in.
Yeah, it's probably his son.
It's like, what the fuck, bro? Oh, shit. Ippei, I need to go in there and get my wife pregnant. Don't worry, she knows you have full security code passes. You're allowed to do whatever you want. Holy shit. All right, there we go.
問題を初めて知ったのは、韓国での第一戦が終わった後に行われたチームミーティング、の時、試合の後のチームミーティングの時です。
The first time I knew about this gambling, Ippei's gambling, was during the after the first game when we had the team meeting in the clubhouse.
そのミーティングで彼は全部英語で話していたので、僕に通訳はもちろんその時ついていなくて、すべて英語で話していたので、完全には理解できていなくて、なんとなくこういう内容だろうなっていうのはおそらくは、理解はできていましたけど、なんとなく違和感をその時は感じてました。
So during the team meeting, obviously, Ippei was speaking in English, and I didn't have a translator on my side.
What?
But even with that, I kind of understood what was going on and started to feel that there was something amiss.
So, during a team meeting, now I don't know what this team meeting thing means. I don't know if they mean like everyone's in the locker room all talking, or it's Ippei and Shohei with the Dodgers directly, like just these two guys, just Ohtani and the Dodgers in a small room having a conversation, to where the interpreter is just sitting there just speaking English the whole time so that he can't understand what's happening.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So he's also so this Ippei guy is also doing it right in front of his face. Of like, yeah, so Ohtani, he gave me some money, because I built up some gambling debt, Ohtani's taking care of it. He took care of it for me. Like, right next to him, apparently. Did the Dodgers say, okay, pause right there. We need to make sure this is correct. Can we get another interpreter in here? We're the LA Dodgers. We have billions and billions of dollars. Can we just get a random guy who speaks Japanese? Can we get him in there? And like, Ohtani, please speak for yourself here. Did it go to there? Let me keep playing.
But even with that, I kind of understood what was going on and started to feel that there was something amiss.
でその時彼は僕に対してホテルに帰った後で、2人で、 より詳しいことを、2人で話したいので今は待ってくれというふうに言っていたので、僕はまずその時は、ホテルまで待つことにしてました。
Just prior to the meeting, I was told by Ippei, "Hey, let's talk one-to-one in the
Okay, so now we're
hotel
before
after
the
the
meeting.
meeting." So I waited until then.
で僕は一平さんがその時にギャンブルミーティングの時にギャンブルの依存症だっていうのは僕はもちろん知らなかったですし、彼が借金をしていることもそのミーティングの時はもちろん知りませんでした。
So up until that team meeting, I didn't know that Ippei had a gambling addiction
Yeah, this is where
and was
I
in
picked up
debt.
on.
で僕は彼の借金返済にももちろんその時も同意してませんし、物件メーカーに対して彼に送金をしてくれと頼んだことももちろん許可したことももちろんないです。
And at that,
僕が弁護士の人たちはこれは窃盗と詐欺のことなのでこれを警察の当局に引き渡すという報告をその時にしました。
my lawyers recommended that, since this is theft and fraud, that we have the proper authorities handle this matter.
これがそこまでの
Okay, so before the team meeting, Ippei told him we need to have a meeting after the Dodgers meeting to where he tells him about his gambling debt or something. Or he's going to tell him, but Ippei brings it up in the Dodgers meeting that he has the gambling thing. Right? Is that what he's saying?
I think so.
It's like, dude, he's like last to know or something.
Yeah.
Like he tells the Dodgers in front of the Dodgers. Ippei tells the Dodgers in front of the Dodgers, and then this guy's
Before he tells Ohtani.
and Ohtani's still lost. He's like, I still don't know what's going on here. Like right in front of them. Like they didn't make sure Ohtani knew. Like the Dodgers didn't make sure this guy like they actually understood. Was this guy speaking Japanese? And then Ippei's like, oh, so what he said here is, yeah, I paid his debt, and he says, you know what, that translator needs a pay raise too from the Dodgers. It's like, what happened here? Like, I'm wrecked actually. But all right.
流れなので、僕はもちろんスポーツ賭博にはもちろん関与していないですし、ブックメーカーにさっきも言いましたけど送金をしていたという事実は全く、ありません。
So, in conclusion, I do want to make it clear that I never betted on sports or have willfully sent money to the bookmaker.
正直ショックという
I was gonna do the emotional thing.
言葉
I think
が正しいとは思わないですし、
we just make sure it's the right
そ
spot.
れ以上の
Or does the in my opinion, it looks like acting type shit. But I'm gonna slow my breathing down and
ずっと過ごしてきたので、
change
今はそれを
the tone of my voice.
難しいなと思っています。
To summarize how I'm feeling right now, I'm just beyond shocked. It's really hard to verbalize how I am feeling at this point.
ただもうシーズンも本格的にスタートするので、ここからは弁護士の、方々にもお任せしますし、僕自身も、警察当局の、協力に全面的に協力したいなと思っています。
And the season's going to start, so I'm going to obviously let my lawyers handle matters from here on out. And I am completely assisting in all investigations that are taking place right now.
なので
That's a good enough cutoff point. So like you didn't learn your lesson from letting Ippei represent you with all these different things? Because that's your story. Your story is that Ippei represented you with the bank, the media, your own representatives, the Dodgers, your accountants. Like he represented you everywhere. Even when you're with him in person, he's still representing you without you fucking talking, apparently. It's like, what the fuck, bro? What the fucking fuck? I'm wrecked. That to me, that's the biggest thing here is that this guy was able to talk to Ohtani's representatives, convince them that Ohtani was helping him, paying gambling debts for him, then convincing them, hey guys, let's go to ESPN and tell these guys that same story for 90 minutes, by the way. 90 minutes that everyone wants access to. What'd you say?
And then Ohtani catches wins. Like, no, that's not what happened.
Well, no, it keeps. See, when when they get this ESPN interview, once again, a 90-minute interview compared to this 10-minute press conference. This guy did 90 minutes. So I'm like, what did he say in 90 minutes? How did he, like, he had to do a shit ton of lying for 90 straight. Like, where are all the details of the lie so that we can, like, narrow this down? Like, that's, even though they killed the story, it's on recording somewhere, right? And, you know, I think they have the legal right to use it, but who knows what ESPN will do with it. But to me, that's like the fucking, that's the fucking, the key piece of evidence for the public's sake is that 90-minute interview. But either way, Ippei convinced the representatives and ESPN that he is speaking on behalf of Ohtani to say this story. Okay.
Yep.
Then the representatives find out that he was not speaking for Ohtani, even though they helped set up this whole ESPN interview, most likely. And they're like, wait a minute. No, he's lying. He stole the money. Which is what I assume, according to his story, that when he found out, he told his lawyers that this guy was lying and stealing from him. Then the representatives had to kill the story. Well, the guy himself had to kill the story too, right? Ippei? He had to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure he's the one who has to be the one who like kills that story because he has, freedom of speech. I assume. And then here we are now. It to me that doesn't make sense to me. That's the thing that just does not add up to me. Is this guy having? It's not just power of attorney. He has power of life over Ohtani, bro. He just gets to be with wherever, whatever thing that Ohtani needs or whatever. Like this guy can apparently represent him, which to me doesn't make sense.
Also, maybe you could make it make sense to me too. Weren't we all like I think everyone collectively was at a point of okay, you did the interview with ESPN, you
Mhm.
told a certain version, and then because it implied that maybe Otani did something illegal or against the collective bargaining rights of baseball, you recanted the story, told ESPN they couldn't run it, and gave another version.
Yes.
And I feel like that's kind of implying that Otani was his puppeteer. But now Otani's trying to make it seem like Ippei was his puppeteer.
Yes. That was the early day fucking. That's what it looked
and
like on the surface.
I feel like that's being totally disregarded and swept under the rug.
Yes, that's
Because okay, let's just look at it logically. I don't want to assume, but
mhm.
if we're going to take what Otani said at face value, why would Ippei switch the story if Ippei is going to get locked up and put in jail? Um, and you're making it seem like and you guys are going to be on bad terms, meaning there is no sunshine, there's no rainbow at the end of this fucking trip for him. But when it first happened, it was assumed by everybody like, oh, he's going to be your fall guy because you're going to take care of him on the back end. That's it because it's the only way that would make sense. That Ippei, why would Ippei make himself get more time in jail or time in jail at all? Unless there was something for him for honor? If he stole $4.5 million from you, why would honor now kick in? I don't understand that part.
Does Ippei have his own like lawyers in regards to all this? Like, did he?
I'm sure he has to have some type of lawyer.
Well, I'm saying like before the ESPN interview, did his lawyers advise him to go to ESPN?
That's we have no way of knowing that.
Because that's like, I would think the lawyer would tell him to go to the FBI, right? To go to the actual people where you're like risk of going to jail are
Yeah,
like
and cooperate.
yeah, to go to federal authorities and tell them the story straight up there instead of going right to ESPN. The only reason to go to ESPN is to save Ohtani's ass when this investigation comes out. When they leak it and say, like, Shohei Ohtani's name has showed up with a bookie in California. Like, the only reason to go to ESPN is for that reason. Ippei needs no PR, bro. Like, what does he need PR for? He's not he's not a ball player.
Yes, that's another aspect.
Why the fuck is he going to ESPN? He should be going to the fucking cops and trying to get a deal
And
there.
why would he care to change the narrative for Ohtani if his end result is he's going to jail and going to be broke when he comes out?
Yeah.
There's no help for him. There has to be an incentive for him. Because you're trying to tell me he's a bad guy, but he had a moment of clarity, a moment of of wholesomeness when it came to your reputation that you clearly needed to be hashed out and cleared up so that no one would suspect you did anything. It's like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're still going to pay him off, and this is just the elaborate like fucking decision they decided to make. Like, come on, dude, there's no other way. There's no reason for Ippei to give himself more legal problems unless there's going to be something for him.
Yeah. Man, oh man, it's that early day narrative, and still feels very present.
Yeah, it still feels like that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to be like, yo, please. But I'm seeing a lot of dipshits like, nah. He's like, yo, you guys flip on a dime, bro. He's a victim. Like, bro, it doesn't make sense because of that whole media tour he did with ESPN.
Let me say that narrative real fast so that people understand what it looks like. At least the day one shit here, it looked like Ippei, Ohtani's representatives, and Ohtani himself all agreed, let's do this PR thing by going to ESPN and doing this 90-minute interview where it makes Ohtani look like a good guy. Like, oh, he didn't gamble, but he was helping a friend out who was gambling. Then they might have found out that, wait a minute, that's either illegal or looks bad or whatever reason they came up with. Ohtani's name can't be involved with paying for gambling debts. Then they're like, we got to kill this story. Ohtani had nothing to do with it, and this guy stole money from him. Ippei stole money from Ohtani, or they had to change the story to that because the other version, still put him in like trouble territory. Not just like PR wise, but also maybe even like criminally in trouble. So that's why like the story changed out of nowhere from 90-minute interview to no, it had nothing to do with it. This guy just stole money from him. There was no helping friend out with debt. That didn't happen. Like that was like the early day like narrative where it's like everyone's like, that doesn't make fucking sense. We need the 90-minute tape, bro. We need that shit. That is the key to this because whether he's telling the truth or lying, he'll fill in gaps of information where there's still just massive gaps right now. He'd fill in those gaps, I think. Because if he's lying, we can catch him with timelines. We can catch him with, like, because Ohtani just laid down a little 10-minute press conference where he's saying, like, oh, no, Ippei was talking to this guy for me. He was talking to my mom on the phone. He was talking to MLB. He was talking to Dodgers. He was talking to FBI. He was talking to ESPN. He was talking to my fucking personal lawyers. He was talking to my accountants. He was talking to the bank. He was talking to the fucking neighbor down the street. He talked for me for everyone. And got away with it. No one said, like, where's Ohtani at? No one asked. They're just like, oh, it's Ippei? Yeah, Ippei is Ohtani. So we don't need to worry about that. We don't need to worry about where Ohtani is. Until it was too late, apparently. Until a 90-minute interview went by already. Which the representatives agreed with, thinking that Ohtani was okay with it. According to Ohtani, Ippei lied to the representatives, and they're like, hey, let's go to ESPN and get this story out now to clear his name before the FBI leaks it. And they're like, wait a minute, you can get in trouble for this? Take that story fucking back. Take that shit back. Yeah. Like, did that involve Ohtani when they took the story back? Like, holy shit! Did Ohtani's personal representatives give the okay to do this thing, and then find out what Ohtani actually thought or felt or believed or knew what was going on?
It had to be because what? It's the only thing that makes sense.
You're like, don't worry, Ohtani, we got you taken care of, bud. Don't worry, we're having him do a 90-minute interview with ESPN. He's gonna clear your name about all his gambling debt and you paying it off for him. He's like, what gambling debt? Oh shit, you don't know about this? Fuck. All right, John, get on the phone, kill that story. It's like, is that what happened? You're telling me this guy they kept him out of the fucking know of all this? Like, come on. Mr. Ohtani, there's $4.5 million missing from your bank account. This is Ippei. Oh, Ippei. We don't need Ohtani. We don't need to involve the boss in all this, right? We don't need him involved. Let's talk one-on-one here, Mr. Ippei. Me and you we'll talk about this. We'll clear this up. Like, what the fuck? It's like, what is the third base coach giving signs to Ippei, and then Ohtani's like, "Yo, Ohtani, coach says steal second base, bro. Yo, steal second, man. I'm your representative." The coaches do signs for the translator. Like, that's what they're making it look like. And this guy's just.
This guy's an idiot. He can't do anything on his own.
He encompassed his life. Oh, fuck. I hope people will complain about this. I really do. Because you write a full sketch comedy out of this fucking thing. Like, this guy is that present everywhere in your life. Everywhere. Like I said, does he talk to your mom on the phone? Like, is he the one who talks to your mom and you don't? Like, Jesus Christ, man. All right. Anything you want to add, Anthony?
No, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, this story shouldn't go away, but it probably is gonna go away, and he's not gonna have to do anything from here on out. My guess, it's gonna be MLB and FBI and representatives, and that's it. Apparently, the thing that screwed him over, this Ippei guy, being a representative of him, he's just gonna follow the same suit with just different people.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, either you're the biggest sucker of all time, like of all time, you're the biggest sucker, or you're complicit. You're in on it.
Well, they're trying to make it seem like he's Manti Te'o. Oh, he didn't know. He just got duped.
His translator found the fake girlfriend for him. All right.
Yeah.
All right. There's a little reaction review of Shohei Ohtani speaking first time speaking to the press, kind of.